Hello, welcome back for HunterTuned. Today I'm starting off at the post office and just shipped out a bunch of orders. I got, I think, like 10 orders last night, so that's awesome, guys. You guys are killing it with the mint stickers. Hopefully you guys enjoy them. I also sold some injectors to a guy, so yeah, super stoked about that stuff, guys. I'm just kind of driving this EG hatch one more time. The guy's actually on his way to come pick it up, so just making sure everything is good to go before he comes and picks it up. Alright guys, so I'm back in the garage now and I'm starting to work on my engine bay a little bit. I just removed the radiator overflow bracket deal. It bolts on right here and then on the bottom here. And next I'm actually going to remove the engine mounts, which you got one right here. These are all 17 mil bolts on this guy that bolt right to the frame. And then we got 3 14 mils for the rear mount and then 3 14 mils for the driver's side mount here. So I'm going to remove those quick. I got the mounts off, the driver's side, passenger side, and the rear mount are all off. Next, I think I'm going to take off the battery box back here, which this tray back here is held in by 3 12 or 14 mil bolts. I don't remember exactly what they are, but I'm going to take this tray out, and that way we can get to the engine harness and get the harness out of here too. So now that I got the battery box out, or the battery tray, now that that's out of there, just remove these 2 10 mils that are right here that hold the harness in, and then the harness will come right out. You just got to take a couple tabs off at the ECU side and then unplug it from the ECU, and this comes out, and now we just got to unhook it from the fuse panel, and it's just hooked on right here too with this little plastic clip. So just going to remove this guy. Phillips head or 8 mil, we'll take that guy out, and then the harness is completely out. Now on the fuse panel you can see that this is the starter wire that goes to the battery here, the positive on the battery. This one goes on the left side. If you're looking at it this way, it's got a little tab, and then the fuse panel has a little tab too, so you don't get it mixed up. So I think I'm going to try to remove the fuse panel now and see if we can get this thing out of here. Now once you get the fuse box unbolted, so it's just bolted here with 2 bolts and then one on the side here. Once you get it unbolted, there's just a little cover that covers all this wiring here, and it's held on with these little tabs here. So just take a flathead screwdriver and break half of them, and then hopefully the rest will hold on. I broke that one and one other one right there. Yep. But anyways, once that's off, you can get at the wiring here and you can just unplug this stuff from the fuse panel. And I'm not going to try to suffer doing this on camera, but you get the idea. You just unplug these connections and then the fuse box will come out, and then I'm probably going to stuff this wiring inside of the car. Okay, guys, so now that the harness is out and the fuse box is unplugged, just have to unplug it up here as well. There's a little bracket here that I already took off, and then this thing just plugs into here. And then you had the battery wiring for the ground I took off, which bolts on here. I mean, I'm just getting rid of all this junk, guys. That's all I'm doing. So let's see if I can find it here. Oh yeah. So I got this guy out of here. This powers the starter, and then goes to the fuse box and then the battery. So hang on to that for later. So now I just took the grommet out of here. So I'm going to try to shove this wiring through. I don't know if I can or not, or if there's enough room, but I'm going to see if I can just shove this wiring through the firewall and have it be on the inside of the car. So I'm going to try to do that quick, and then I'll pick back up and see if I can or not. I'm actually going to move on from doing the fuse box. This may be a little bit bigger of a job than I want to do at this moment, because I think I actually got to take out the blower motor and the AC condenser and the heater core and all that stuff to get this actually to feed through, because currently it'll hit the blower motor if I try to feed these wires through. So I'm going to move on from this and do something else so I stay productive here. So I'm starting to rip the headlight harness out. It comes down here, runs along the frame down here to the headlights, and then, you know, runs along underneath this guy, runs down here, and you just pretty much unclip all of it and you come up with this mess. So this is the whole headlight harness here. And then I got all the way to this spot, and I'm gonna take out the washer tank next so I can get at all the rest of the clips that are holding the headlight harness in, which leads all the way down through here, snakes around, and then plugs in right here. So the whole headlight harness will be removed, and then we can move on, but I'm gonna take the washer tank out like I said. So there's just a couple 10 mils on this guy, and yeah. Okay guys, so now that the headlight harness is removed, I can take off some of these like unnecessary brackets. So like this is a stock throttle cable bracket, which we do not need. So I'll rip that sucker off. And we can remove like this wire holder bracket thing. This actually holds the factory engine harness plugs like this, you know. So we can rip this out. I'm also going to remove like this brake wiring right here that goes to the brake master cap. This actually just runs the dummy light on the dash, so if your brake fluid gets low, the brake light comes on. A lot of times, as long as you have a good system here, you don't need to run this stuff. You can actually just take these two wires and hide them underneath the cap, and then take this wiring and jam it down here somewhere. But I'm going to remove the bolts that hold the master for the clutch, and then I'm going to remove this wiring here, this bracket, and we'll pick up after that. Okay guys, so I got a lot of this stuff out of the engine bay right now. I just have a few more little brackets I got to take off, but I did take off pretty much every single one of them. And I also took out all the little like push tab plug things that are all held in all over this frickin' engine bay. I don't know if I can find one for example. Like right here, this is just a little plastic little push tab. I just pop all those out so we can paint. I just got to remove a couple more tabs, and then I'm going to move on to doing the fuel filter and the brake lines. I'm probably actually going to take off the slave cylinder clutch line because I may be getting a braided one from JB Tuned or some other company. I'm not exactly sure what one I'm going to go with yet, but I'm probably just going to take that off of the master cylinder down here, and then the slave cylinder line will come off. And then it's just two brackets on the fire, or two bolts for the bracket on the firewall. That'll be out of the way, and then can take out this evap canister here. This is just slid into this little bracket on the firewall here. So this thing kind of just broke off when I pulled the engine out because I forgot to take one of the hoses off. But yeah, this is just connected to this still, so I can just yank this off and cut that way back there, so it's out of the way. And yeah, I'll pick up here in a little while when I get some more progress done on this thing. So I ripped the clutch line out. This is just 10 mil nut, and I ripped that off, and I ripped all the little plastic brackets and shit that hold it along the firewall there. So all that's off. Now I'm going to take off the windshield wipers. These are just held in by 12 millimeter nuts on each wiper blade, and they should just come up. Here's one of them. There's the other. So now I can rip off all these little tabs right here and pull this wiper cowl up, and I can unplug the wiper motor from the harness that's over here, and then I can push that harness into the car or out of the way so I can paint. And then this out of the way will help with painting and tucking stuff as well. So gonna get this guy out and I'll pick back up. This wiper cowling is off, and now you can unplug the wiper motor, which plugs in back here, like so, something like that. Unplug that, there's a little grommet right here, and you can push all this junk out. That way you can get the rest of this harness ran through the car or ran, you know, wherever you want it to be ran. This plug is a little bit tricky to get out because the brake booster is right there, but I think I'll be able to snake it out somehow. Maybe, maybe not. That's a tight one. That's a tight one, boys. So I'm making some progress on this thing, and took off the fuel filter here and bent the fuel line out of the way. Did not kink or anything, so you can do this usually and get away with it without having any issues. Just be careful with the lines so they don't kink on you or break. And I also took the 2 bolts out of this proportioning valve right here for the brakes that holds it up to here. So we're gonna move this out of the way. And I also cut the line that goes to the heater valve right here. This pretty much cycles your AC on or off, or your heat on or off. So considering this car doesn't have air conditioning, I'm just gonna delete this thing anyways and just run a straight hose, and it'll have heat all the time, which is all it's going to have anyways. So I'm gonna cut these hoses out of here because I'm gonna replace them anyways. And one thing is, when you take the hoses off of the heater core, they're usually always stuck. And if you take a pliers onto here and try to break it loose, you'll bend on the heater core hoses. So the smartest thing to do in this situation is just take a razor blade and cut down the center of the hose here on both sides, and then just kind of peel it up. Because like I said, if you take a pliers on this, you'll actually bend or kink the fittings that are going into the heater core, because they're brass. They're really soft metal. So yeah, you got to cut those with a razor blade to get them off. And I'm going to do that quick, and I don't know how much more I'm really going to need to do on this thing besides clean the shit out of it. Alright guys, I'm just doing some small stuff now. I am just taking all these little tabs and shit that are hanging on the firewall, and I'm grinding them off with my cutoff wheel, and then I'm just going to grind them smooth. There was a lot of like tabs and shit that were on the firewall on the back. So I'm just gonna grind all that smooth so those tabs aren't sticking out. They kind of drive me nuts, honestly. So yeah, I'm just grinding those down. And then I think I'm done for the night. Okay guys, that's gonna wrap it up for this video. I did get these grinded down flat for the studs that were coming out of the firewall. Got all that cleaned up. And I put a little bit of oven cleaner over on this side. You can kind of see where it's kind of clean and then it's not clean over here. I sort of cleaned over here, but I did not clean the rest of it. I just kind of wanted to see if the oven cleaner mixed with brake cleaner could get this stuff off, because I don't really have a pressure washer of my own, and I don't know if I'll be able to get this thing to the car wash or not to be able to clean it properly. And I don't know if I'll be able to even use a pressure washer at my own place because our water lines are currently frozen. So I don't know how I'm gonna clean this engine bay. If you guys have an idea, leave it down in the comments, and I will gladly take advice from it to try to get this thing cleaned up as best as I can. I don't want to sit here with a frickin' scrubber for 10 hours, but I want to get it cleaned up. So yeah, hopefully you guys can see some progress that we made here. I did bend the brake lines down, and I'm probably just going to end up tying them down onto this cross member here. I've done this on a couple cars where you just take the brake lines, bend them down, and this is kind of just like a ghetto brake tuck, so it's under the motor and you don't see it. It's out of the way. Yeah, so hopefully this video wasn't too boring for you guys. Hopefully you learned something, and hopefully you guys can see some of the progress I've made, and hopefully you guys are excited about this build, because I'm very excited. And I'm still debating on what color I want to do on the engine bay. I don't know if I'm going to paint the whole car yet. I don't know what I'm doing with this thing. I'm so up in the air with it. So yeah. This is why I always build pieces of shit, because when I have a car that's like sort of nice, I always like regret the decision I made. So like if I do decide to go with like a battleship gray or a cream color on the engine bay, once I lay it down, I'll be like, I wish I would have done a different color. But whenever I'm doing customer cars, I'm like, damn, that looks so good. You know what I mean? I don't know if you guys can relate at all, but it's super tough when it's your own car. Realistically, I'd love to do a championship white car. So like paint the whole car champ white. That would be super dope, I think. I love white EK hatches. Red isn't bad either. I just don't know if I want to paint match the fender and the hood or not. I don't know. But I'm still up in the air with the bay. I have a few contenders. I have gloss black with like a metallic in it. I was thinking about doing that. I was thinking about doing cream, like Michael's engine bay, but a little bit darker cream. So yeah, I don't know. Gloss black, cream, red. green, pink. I don't fucking know. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Let me know. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video and it wasn't too boring, like I said. If you guys are new to the channel, please subscribe and like this video. It does help my channel out and grow. Share the channel with all your friends and family. If they're into Hondas and they like building horsepower, send them my way. But anyways, thanks for watching. We will see you tomorrow.